Good morning everyone. Welcome back to GK Today. And today we'll be discussing most important MCQs for 28th of April 2023. Let's start with our session. Which country is the host of the European Union India Aviation Summit? So this 2-day summit was recently held in New Delhi and it focuses on air transport relations and the mutually shared challenges and opportunities of European Union and India. Okay. So during the summit, a declaration of intent was signed by Airport Authority of India with the Eurocontrol, and a letter of intent memorandum of understanding was signed by the DGCA with the European Union Aviation Safety for the closer cooperation. Okay. So which country is the host of this European Union India Aviation Summit? Answer would be India. Which country is the host of the multinational air exercise INIOCHOS-232? So this is a multinational air exercise that will be hosted by Hellenic Air Force at the Andravida Air Base in Greece. Okay. India's Air Force is participating for the first time in this particular exercise, and it includes the elements from the countries like Greece, France, the US, Italy, Saudi Arabia, India, Spain, Jordan, Slovenia and Cyprus. Okay, so here correct answer would be Greece. Greece was the host for this particular multinational air exercise. Which union ministries are associated with the 100 Food Streets initiative? So Union Health Ministry, in collaboration with Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, has requested the states and the union territories to develop 100 food streets in total 100 districts across India. And this pilot initiative seeks to ensure hygienic and safe food practices among the food businesses and the community members. Okay. So which two ministries are associated with the 100 Food Street initiative? This is Health Ministry and Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Now, apart from it, the Defense Ministry has recently conducted a 2-day coastal security exercise named as Sagar Kavach, where off the coast of Kerala and Mahe, to evaluate the potential threats from the sea and examine the preparedness level of the coastal security agencies by simulating real-time threats and the contingencies. Okay, and this particular exercise involved deploying various type of coastal security apparatus of the Indian Navy, Indian Coast Guard and other type of maritime security agencies. Okay, so you can be asked that which union ministry organized the Sagar Kavach exercise? Answer would be Ministry of Defense. Tel EOS-2, that was launched as the primary satellite of PSLV, belongs to which particular country? So it belonged to Singapore, and recently it was launched as the primary satellite of the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle C-55 mission, and it was developed under a partnership between the DSTA, that represents the government of Singapore, and ST Engineering. Fine. So it is the primary satellite of PSLV and it belongs to Singapore country. The vote from home initiative has been introduced for the first time in the assembly elections of which particular state? So this initiative was introduced for the first time in the Karnataka assembly elections by the Election Commission of India. And this procedure was chosen by around 8,900 persons who are above 80 years old or the persons with disabilities in Bangalore city. Fine. So first time this vote from home initiative has been introduced in the assembly elections of Karnataka state. Now Karnataka was also in news because of its tribe named as Hakki Pikki. Hakki Pikki is basically a tribe that is predominantly living in the state of Karnataka. And according to census 2011, there are 11,892 Hakki-Pikki tribal people in the state. So these are basically an endogamous community, and they speak a language called as Wagri Buli. Okay. So Hakki-Pikkis were originally a nomadic tribe who hunted the birds, and they are named like Hakkis. And recently it was found that nearly 108 Hakki-Pikki community people are said to be stuck in the country Sudan. Fine. So you can be asked that Hakki-Pikki is a tribe of people living in which state or the union territory? Answer would be Karnataka state. As per the first census of water bodies, what percentage of water bodies are in rural areas? So for the first time in the history of the country, the Ministry of Jal Shakti has conducted the first ever census of water bodies across the nation. And as per the census, 24.24 lakh water bodies have been enumerated in the country, out of which 97.1% are in rural areas and only 2.9% falls in urban areas. And the top 5 states in terms of the number of water bodies are West Bengal, first of all, second is Uttar Pradesh, third is Andhra Pradesh, fourth is Odisha, and the fifth is Assam. Okay, so correct answer would be 97.1%. Yerevan is the capital city of which particular country? First of all, let's see why it was in news. A new India, Iran, Armenia trilateral grouping was announced recently, and the first trilateral political consultation between the foreign affairs ministries of the 3 countries was held recently in Yerevan, which is the capital of Armenia. Okay, so for India, Armenia has emerged as a key geopolitical partner in the recent years, and this trilateral grouping is now expected to open the opportunities for cooperation in the areas like energy, transportation, trade, etc. Okay, so this Yerevan is the capital city of the country Armenia. Next is, when is the Civil Services Day celebrated every year? So this day is observed every year on 21st of April, and it highlights the achievements and the contributions of the civil servants in India. So National Civil Services Day was first celebrated in the year 2006, and why 21st of April was chosen as this date? Because it is on this day that the first Home Minister of Independent India, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, addressed the probationers of Administrative Services Officers at Medicoff House in New Delhi. Okay, so Civil Services Day is observed every year on 21st of April. Now you have to tell me, when do we observe the World Water Day and what was the theme for the year 2023? Next is, which international association has approved the Markets in Crypto Act? So European Union Parliament has recently approved the Markets in Crypto Act, and this new legislation seeks to minimize the risk for the consumers who are buying the crypto asset and ensure the regulation of the cryptocurrency. So the rules will impose the requirements on crypto platform, token issuers and the traders around transparency, disclosure, authorization and supervision of the transaction. Fine. So European Union has approved the Markets in Crypto Act recently. Next is, which institution released the State of the World's Children 2023 for Every Child Vaccination report? So this report was released recently by the UNICEF India, and according to this new report, India is one among the countries with highest vaccine confidence in the world. Okay, and the popular perception of the importance of vaccines for the children held firm or improved only in the countries like China, India and Mexico out of total 55 countries that were studied. Okay, what's inside the report is not at all important. Only thing you have to remember is this is a report from UNICEF. Now, which institution has prepared the white paper on gearing up to solve the food security challenges? So this was prepared by the Untitled Innovation Mission in partnership with United Nations Capital Development Fund and with support from the Rabo Foundation and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It was prepared. Basically, it recommended that the states develop their own agri-tech policies in order to encourage the growth of agriculture-focused startups while also facilitating the adoption of digital licensing system. Okay, so this particular paper was published by Untitled Innovation Mission. Next is the Safe Kerala project, which was launched recently, aims to minimize what? So the state government of Kerala has launched the Safe Kerala project to minimize the number of road accidents and prevent the traffic violations in the state. And as a part of this project, artificial intelligence based cameras will be used to identify the traffic violations and impose the fine. Okay, Safe Kerala project aims to minimize the road accidents. The last question is very important. As per the Hurun's Global Unicorn Index, what is the rank of India? So as per this index, India has retained its third spot as the country with the highest number of unicorns worldwide. And total with 68 new unicorns, India lags behind the US and the China. US has total 666 unicorns and China has 316 new unicorns. So India added 14 new unicorns since the pandemic began, but none of the startups made it to the top 10. And according to the report, Byju's is the topmost unicorn in India with a valuation of $22 billion, and then it is followed with Swiggy at second position and third is Dream 11. Fine. So in this, India is ranked at third position, and which countries stand at top 2? These are US and China. Fine. So these are the most important current affairs and the news from today. And now let's start with our revision session, in which we are doing the current affairs revision for the month of March, and this is part 7 in this series. So today we'll be doing the questions from 91 up to question number 105. First is, which institution along with the United Nations Women launched a new program called as Fin Empower? This is Bombay Stock Exchange. So BSc and United Nations Women India launched a new program named as Fin Empower, and it is a 1 year long joint capacity building program between BSc and United Nations Women to empower the women towards financial security. Nisar mission is a collaborative project between ISRO and which space agency? Full form of Nisar is NASA ISRO Synthetic Aperture Radar, and it is a collaborative project between NASA and ISRO, right? What is the aim behind it? Aim is to build and launch an Earth observation satellite that is equipped with dual frequency synthetic aperture radar. And the US Air Force recently handed over the Nisar satellite to the ISRO. That's why it was in news. Here correct answer would be NASA. As per the National Education Policy, higher educational institutes to obtain the highest level of NAAC accreditation within how many years? What is this NAAC? This is the National Assessment and Accreditation Council. It was set up in 1994 and it is responsible for evaluating the quality of higher education institutions in India. So now it aims to get all the higher educational institutes to obtain the highest level of accreditation within the next 15 years. Okay. Which state's governor returned the prohibition of online gaming bill passed by the state cabinet? This was Tamil Nadu state, and who's the governor of Tamil Nadu? Mr. R.N. Ravi. In the month of March, he returned the state government the Tamil Nadu prohibition of online gambling and regulation of online gaming bill passed by the assembly, because it was cited that the House did not have legislative competence to frame it. Which country hosted the third session of the National Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction? This is the country, India. India hosted the third session of the National Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction, where? At New Delhi. And more than 1200 subject expert practitioners, academicians and delegates attended the meeting. The Prevention of Money Laundering Act was recently expanded to include which particular products? So Prevention of Money Laundering Act was enacted by the Indian Parliament to prevent the money laundering, and Indian government has expanded the Prevention of Money Laundering Act to include the transactions that involve the exchange, transfer and safekeeping of the virtual digital asset. Okay, here correct answer would be virtual digital asset. NASA's Curiosity rover recently captured the crepuscular rays on which particular planet? So NASA's Curiosity rover recently captured these rays on the planet Mars for the very first time, and the rover captured the view when the sun illuminated the cumulus cloud, and these rays passed through openings in the clouds or between the object. So this is red planet Mars. Atmospheric rivers are expected to bring heavy rain, flooding and heavy snowfall in which particular country? What is atmospheric river? These are basically a narrow and elongated region in the atmosphere that carries a substantial amount of water vapor in the tropics. So California is currently bracing for the arrival of atmospheric rivers which are expected to bring the heavy rain, flooding and heavy snowfall there. Answer would be USA. As per a recent report, economic, social and environmental factors like climate change are the primary reasons for which particular process. So as per a report, short distance migration accounts for the most significant proportion of global migratory movement. And the report states that economic, social and environmental factors like climate change are the primary reasons behind the short distance relocation in the most migratory movements. Okay. Scientists from which country developed a new conductive polymer coating called as HOSPFM? This is the USA. Scientists of USA have developed a new conductive polymer coating that could potentially enable longer lasting and more powerful lithium ion batteries for the electric cars. Okay. So this coating is designed to conduct both electrons and ions simultaneously, leading to increased battery stability, high discharge rate and longer battery life. Okay. Next is Karenia brevis, which causes red tide, is a dash. So red tide is caused by a toxic algae species known as Karenia brevis, and it occurs when the algae multiply in large numbers and they form the algae blooms, which basically resulted in the water turning reddish brown, right? So this is a variety of algae. Odin is the god of poetry, wisdom, magic and death, associated with which mythology? This is Norse mythology. Why it was in news? Because scientists of Scandinavia have found the oldest known reference to Odin in an inscription on a gold disc that was discovered in Western Denmark. And this discovery represents the earliest solid evidence of Odin being worshipped at least 150 years earlier than the previous oldest known reference. A recent study using semi-supervised machine learning found that over 10 million older adults in India may have which particular disease. So this algorithm uses both labeled and unlabeled data to train a model, and this learning is often used in the cases where obtaining labeled data is expensive or time consuming. And using this algorithm, scientists have found that more than 10 million older adults who are aged between 60 years and above in India may have the dementia. Okay, and the prevalence rate of dementia in older adults in India is found to be 8.44%. India launched the education qualification recognition mechanism with which particular country? This is Australia. So this is a newly launched bilateral agreement that allows the degrees obtained in Australia to be recognized in India and vice versa. and also it covers the online courses, right? Which city hosted the meeting of the Chief Justices of the Supreme Courts of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization? So the 18th meeting of the Chief Justices of the Supreme Courts of the member states of SCO was held in New Delhi, India. And the first meeting was held in 2006 in Shanghai. The last edition was held in Dushanbe. And this 18th meeting involved the interactions between the Chief Justices from member or observer states and representatives from the SCO Secretariat and SCO RATS, means Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure, right? So these are the next 15 questions from the month of March, and tomorrow we'll take it ahead from 106 up to question number 120. And with this, we'll be done with our 50% of revision from March current affairs, fine? Now let's start with today's quiz. Here on the slide, you can see 5 questions which have been taken from the past 2-3 days current affairs. Pause the video and try to solve each of these questions. And at the end of the lecture, do not forget to share your scores in the comment section. So please be honest and do not cheat with yourself. So that's it for today. I hope you have liked the session. These were the important news and events from today, and we will meet again tomorrow with some more important current affairs. Till then, stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe to GK Today. With this, Vinu Hatsana signing off.